Hi there, JC De Guzman here once again for our daily top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis. This video is for May 22, 2019 in preparation for the next trading day. Today is Wednesday and you're going to hear my technical analysis, overall sentiment and recommendations or trade setups for the following 10 stocks, namely IANA Corporation, PRMX, PHEN, CPG, CNPF, CHP, SEVN, IMI, CLI, and Tech. I am going to begin the discussion for IANA Corporation, an index company. So IANA Corporation closed today at, let's see this one. It closed today at 905 pesos per share. It already rose above its 10-day simple moving average. Let's check MACD. So MACD is already showing us a formation of a bullish convergence with the signal line. However, MACD has not crossed above the signal line yet. So as far as the conditions for my 10 SMA and MACD combination are concerned, they have not been met yet. So the conditions, again, for the conditions for the 10 SMA and MACD combo have not been met yet. However, let's take a look at the presence of the 4-point criteria that we always monitor, that I always mention in my previous videos. Let's see if they are present so that we can have a data-driven basis just in case you would like to preempt the 10 SMA and MACD combos conditions. Okay, now go back to the quick start guide. If you have no idea yet what this word preempt or preempting means, okay, I have explained what the preemption technique is in our quick start guide. Now, for those who attended my advanced seminars, the Evergreen Strategy in Trading the Philippine Stock Market, please check out your handouts. I also emphasized this preemption technique in those handouts. Okay, let's begin with IANA Corporation. Criterion number 1, do we see green candlestick for the last price? Yes, check. Okay, number 2, did it close above the VWAP of 887.67? It did, check. Do we see a green volume bar that is at least higher than the 50% of its 10-day volume average? Yes, we do, check. How about the trade and volume distribution chart? Let's see it. Let's see the chart then. Okay, this is the chart. Trade and volume distribution. So obviously the dominant range is registered closer to the intraday high 905 than the intraday low 853. The dominant range is between 889, okay, 889.5 all the way to 905. That's the dominant range, and that dominant range may reappear by the next trading day and may act as the intraday support and resistance level, the highest and the lowest portion of the dominant range. So those two things may act as the intraday support and resistance level of IANA Corporation by the next trading day, which is tomorrow. Let's go back to the chart so we can see the other indicators. How about let's wrap up the 4-point criteria first. Did we see all 4 criteria present? Yes, we did. 4 checks. Okay. How about the foreign investors' sentiment for today? Well, apparently they are bearish for IANA Corporation. They have continued their bearish appetite or sentiment for IANA Corporation. How did I know? Because they sold about, or not, they did not sold, but they registered a net foreign selling, a net foreign trade, okay, or a net foreign selling worth 234 or 235 million pesos for today. Okay, now I'm seeing another good signal coming from my DMI histogram. So there has already been a crossover between the positive and the negative DMI, with the positive DMI crossing above the negative DMI. So that's a bullish signal. So apparently, again, IANA Corporation translated, what's this price point here? Translated 835 as a rebound zone. Okay, so it already crossed above the previous midterm support or midterm resistance at 865. Okay, and the acting support now is 865, and the acting resistance is at 961 pesos per share. If you have if you have already if you have had IANA Corporation, let's say you bought IANA Corporation for short-term trading purposes below 865, and you would like to ask me if there's a data-driven reason to top up on your shares, yes, you do. You can top up. Just position within the dominant range that I've shown you a few seconds ago. If you don't have IANA Corporation and you would like to ask me, JC, can I enter a new position on IANA Corporation for short-term trading? Okay, not long-term investing, okay? For short-term trading, yes, you can. You can do a test buy where? Not at any price, but within that dominant range that I have just shown you a few seconds ago. Position there. Okay, now if that dominant range that I've shown you is no longer valid after 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, whatever, past the opening bell by the next trading day, you can do your fresh trade and volume distribution analysis on your own. If you don't know how to do that yet, especially if you are a new subscriber of Equities Analytics, you can post a request for the latest trade and volume distribution chart and analysis, my analysis for IANA Corporation. Where? Email, Facebook? No. Through the private clients forum. Okay? Private clients forum. Again, go back to the quick start guide. I have explained there where you should raise your follow-up questions as soon as you have become a subscriber of Equities Analytics. So, my overall sentiment for IANA Corporation for short-term trading purposes is bullish. Okay, I have already given you my recommendations on whether you already have this stock or you are just about to trade the name for short-term trading purposes. Okay, next stock in the list we have PRMX. Okay, PRMX closed on Wednesday at 2.10. This green, this towering bar that you see here is it's not a candlestick. It's a volume bar. Okay, this is a volume bar, not a candlestick. Okay, so now 2.10 support is at 1.99. We can say 2.0 flat. How about the resistance? I would say the resistance is at 2.89 or 2.9, but there is a midterm resistance somewhere near 2.4. This one here. Okay, meaning to say the likelihood of drawing closer to the resistance at 2.90 will become more dominant or stronger even when PRMX crosses above 2.4, and preferably with a strong volume, a green volume bar that is at least higher, okay, that's the operative word, that is at least higher than the 50% of PRMX's 10-day volume average. Of course, the higher the better. If the volume is equal or higher than its 10-day volume average in favor of the green candlestick, the better it gets. Okay. Now, where's the VWAP of PRMX? It's at 2.10. It's equal to its closing price today, and it looks like I'm seeing a cross. It's a cross candlestick. Okay. So what does that mean? That there was a tug of war between the bears and the bulls, between the decided sellers and decided buyers today. There was a tug of war. Okay. Now we will see later on the trade and volume distribution chart if the bulls won or if the bears won, or there was also a sign of an indecision on the trade and volume distribution chart. We will check on that in a few seconds. Now, on the RSI, as you can see here, I think I already covered PRMX in the previous videos, maybe last week. Okay, it already hit, it already drew closer to its classical oversold level. So PRMX translated 2.0 as a rebound zone. Okay, so in the past few videos, maybe you have noticed me emphasizing or calling out the classical overbought or oversold position of the stock based on the RSI. So maybe you have already seen the pattern as well that it's not always, it does not happen all the time. Okay, it does not happen all the time, but in most cases, whenever the RSI of the stock on the daily chart approaches the classical oversold or overbought level, in most cases, the stock will uh, consider that as a sign of reversal, whether it's a bullish or a bearish sentiment for the stock. Okay, for example, for PRMX, when it approached the classical overbought or oversold level, it translated that as a sign that it's ripe for a bullish reversal. That's why we saw a rebound on PRMX's price when its RSI drew closer to its classical oversold level rather. Okay, so take note of that. Again, it does not happen all the time. That it doesn't mean that RSI is approaching the classical oversold level. It does not always mean that it's already destined to rebound. That a rebound is guaranteed, assured, promised. No, no, don't translate it like that. Statistics show that whenever the RSI is approaching the classical overbought or oversold level, statistics show that the trend in price is likely to reverse. Okay, that's a possibility, not a guarantee, as I always say. Okay. Now, on the DMI histogram, it appears here that the bears are still in control. They are still in control. The ball is still in the hands of the bears. They still have a home court advantage, so to speak. So today's ascent in price above 2 peso or 2.10 is not yet enough to, for the bulls uh, to take the advantage. So we want to see, if you have PRMX, what you want to see is for the price to cross above 2.4 with a bullish volume, if possible equal or higher than its 10-day volume average for the ascent in price to be more likely uh, to be continued. Okay, otherwise PRMX may just trade sideways between 2 peso and 2.4, 2 to 2.4. Okay, that's a possibility. Now let's take a look at PRMX's trade and volume distribution chart. So this is it. Where is the dominant range? It's between 2 peso and 2.10. So clearly it's closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. So it's a bearish sentiment coming from the trade and volume distribution. What does that mean then? PRMX made it in the top 5 gainers list today. However, my trade and volume distribution analysis contradicts the classical notion that whenever a stock made it to the top 5 gainers list, it does not necessarily mean that the stock is already bullish from in an overall perspective. Not all the time, and this is a perfect example. PRMX made it in the top 5 gainers list, but I am bearish on my trade and volume distribution chart. Okay, so I am bearish on PRMX. Okay, there are no strong signs that the ascent in price is more likely to continue, even though we are seeing a giant bullish volume here. For me, this is not enough for me to say with conviction, okay, get ready guys, PRMX is bound to cross above 2.4 within this week. No, I don't have the confidence. I don't have the data-driven confidence to say that yet. Okay? So What does that mean? I am bearish. So if I am bearish and if you are bearish as well, what do we do? Of course, you should not enter a new position. Why would you enter a new position on any stock if you're bearish on the stock? Of course, you would like to be watching or monitoring the price movement first. As soon as the 4-point criteria becomes present, that's the only time that you should consider doing a test buy. Okay? All right. So that's it for PRMX. Next, we have PHEN. PHEN closed today at 2.12. Support is at 1.95. Resistance is at 2.16. If it breaks below 1.95, it will make 1.66 as its support level. What if it breaks above 2.16? What would be its psychological resistance? Well, let's take a look at the 61.8% up Fibonacci extension. That is somewhere near 2.32. Okay, MACD is still bullish. All 4-point criteria are present. Green candlestick, it moved above the VWAP of 2.08. It's a green volume bar that is higher than the 50% of the 10-day volume average. And let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart to see if it completes all 4 points for PHEN. The dominant range is between here 2.1 to 2.16. That's closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Let me just remind you, RSI is drawing closer to the classical overbought level. So if you bought PHEN below 1.66 or near 1.4, you are one of those lucky guys who managed to enter a new position on PHEN when my 10 SMA and MACD combos conditions were met last May 2 or May 3. Okay, so be on top of your trailing stop loss, so you should just be fine so that your gains will be guaranteed or locked in. Trailing stop loss. Wait, what? Trailing stop loss? Okay, if that's your question, go back to our quick start guide. I have explained what a trailing stop loss is, how to calculate it, whatever, etc. about trailing stop loss. Okay, go back to the quick start guide. Okay, on the DMI, the bulls are still in control and the upward momentum remains strong. Just a little bit of a friendly reminder regarding the signal coming from RSI. However, okay, so consider locking in some profits above 2.16 or closer to 2.3. You can preempt your trailing stop loss if you are already seeing some signs of weaknesses. How do you know if there are some signs of weaknesses? Or what are the signs in the first place? Do you still know the 4-point criteria that we are monitoring? If you do, those are the exact same signs that you also need to watch out for. How would you know again if there's a sign of growing weakness? Of course, if one by one those 4 points are starting to be absent. If you don't see a green candlestick, let's say it's a red candlestick, that's a sign of a weakening ascendant price. If the closing price is below the VWAP, that's another sign. If you see a red volume bar, or let's say if it's a green volume bar but the size of the volume is lower than the 50% of the 10-day volume average of the stock, that's a bearish signal as well, a weakening momentum. If another one, if the dominant range on the trade and volume distribution chart is closer to the intraday low than the intraday high, that's another sign of a weakening upward momentum for an uptrending stock. So whenever you see any of those 4 points becoming absent in an uptrending stock, then it could be a signal. I'm using the verb could be. I'm not saying it is, okay? It could be a signal of a weakening upward momentum. So perhaps once you got two or more absent criteria, you can consider that as a weakening, a confirmed weakening upward momentum. And when you see that, you can preempt your trailing stop loss. What does that mean? You can sell earlier, even before your trailing stop loss is hit or will be hit. That's why preempt. You're going to preempt it. If you attended my seminar, I have also emphasized the advanced seminar. I also emphasized this preemption technique in the handouts that I have shared with you. If you missed it, brush up on what I have taught you. Go back to your handouts. Okay? So that's it for PHEN. I am bullish on PHEN, by the way. Okay, I am bullish on PHEN. Next stock in the list, we have CPG. CPG closed today at 0.55. Resistance is near 0.56. Support is at 0.51. You can actually consider 0.49 to 0.51 as a support range. Okay? 0.49 to 0.51. Let me plot that. Okay, there you go. Now, if it breaks above 0.56, of course, you would like to know, JC, where is the psychological resistance then? No problem. Let's just plot a Fibonacci extension. From here, this is the swing low, and let's say it crossed above the resistance at 0.56. That's your swing high. Now, let's check on the top. Where is the 61.8% up Fibonacci extension? There you go. It's at 0.59. There's your psychological resistance if and when the price breaks above 0.56. Okay? Now, all 4 points are present on CPG. I'm not going to say what those 4 points are, because if you have been listening to my daily video for about more than a week, you should have, your ears may have already gone tired of hearing those 4 points. You should have already memorized those by now. Okay, another bullish signal, a golden cross on the MACD. Alright, golden cross. Check. Is my 10 SMA MACD combo perfectly achieved? The price is above the 10 SMA, and there's a crossover on the signal line on MACD. MACD above the signal line. So the 10 SMA and MACD combo is achieved. The conditions have been met. And the DMI chart affirms what I have just said. So the upward momentum, the ball is in the hands of the Bulls have a home court advantage, so to speak. However, the upward momentum is not yet on the quote-unquote very strong level. It's an uptrending price, but the upward momentum is not yet on the very strong category, so to say. Now let's take a look at CPG's trade and volume distribution chart. CPG, for CPG, the dominant range is between 0.53 to 0.55. Still, it's closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. So I'm going to give the point for, or to CPG, to the bulls rather. Okay, so I'm bullish on CPG in the short term, but I have a but or a PS postscript. You may want to consider locking in some profits at 0.56 or between 0.56 to 0.59. I think once the price crosses above or touches 0.56 to 0.57, RSI may already give us a classical overbought status by then. Yeah, okay, that's my forecast. So be risk averse somehow. Consider locking in some profits near 0.56 to 0.57 or closer to 0.59. If you would like to enter a new trade on CPG for the first time, calculate your reward to risk ratio first, because if you will consider 0.51 as the support and 0.56 as the resistance and the current price at 0.55, obviously you're not going to get a bigger potential reward. You will have a bigger potential risk than the potential reward. Okay, as far as the current support and resistance levels are concerned. Okay, consider that. So if you're really a high risk trader, then that's the only time, or if you are happy with your very slim reward to risk ratio in favor of the bulls, if you're happy with that, take the risk. It's up to you. If you would like to take the risk, then you can do a test buy. Just in case your bullishness, your bullishness proves, or the market proves your bullishness wrong, make sure that you know where your trailing stop loss is so that you're not wondering where you should exit on CPG. Okay, that's it for CPG. Next we have CNPF. CNPF closed today at 15.38. It crossed above its previous resistance at 14.54, and that makes 14.54 as its standing support level. Resistance is now at 16.52. CNPF finally made it above its 10 SMA and the 200-day SMA. Okay. On the other hand, foreign investors sold about. They registered a net foreign selling worth 6 million pesos today. Good news, by the way, MACD has already registered a golden cross. My 10 SM, the conditions of my 10 SMA MACD combo have been met, have been achieved. RSI is relatively far from the classical overbought level. There's still enough room for CNPF to wiggle. Okay, let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart. What was the closing price? For 15.38, that's the intraday high. So the dominant range that I see here is between, we can include this one, 15 to 15.38. It's still in favor of the bulls. Okay, so I am bullish on CNPF. I think if you're going to calculate your reward to risk ratio from 14.54 to 16.52 with regard to its current price at 15.38, you should still get, based on my risk tolerance, risk appetite, I think it's still acceptable. But that's based on my risk tolerance. The pronoun that I've used is my, not yours. Okay, so base your decision, base your happiness level on your reward to risk ratio on your personal risk appetite, not on the risk appetite of JC de Guzman. Okay, I hope that makes that's clear. I'm going to give you guidance. I'm going to tell you everything that I know about CNPF or any stock, but at the end of the day, you have to mix and match my overall sentiment and every single word that I've given you based on your own investment horizon and risk tolerance. That's how you play this game. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at the... Oh, we already saw this one. So I'm bullish on CNPF. You can do a test buy or you can top up on your current position. Okay? All 4 points are still present. Okay, next we have CHP. CHP is always part of my daily videos for the past few days. I've noticed that. Anyway, it closed today at 2.52. Support remains at 2.21. Resistance is near 2.88. It already crossed below, okay, below the 10 SMA. And MACD is already downward sloping, meaning to say it's poised. It has already shown us a formation of a bearish convergence with the signal line. Despite that bearish, despite its downward sloping position, foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 23 million pesos today. And let's see, take this one, take this. They have been buying CHP for the past 14 trading days consistently. 14 trading days in a row. Okay. On the DMI, I'm also seeing a bearish convergence between the positive and the negative DMI. It's a bearish convergence, guys. That's not a bullish one. So if you have had CHP below, if you manage to enter below 2.2 or below 2.3, let's say, you should have already seen some signs of a weakening upward momentum. So you should have already preempted your trailing stop loss as well. Okay, you have two options. It's not mandatory that you preempt your trailing stop loss all the time. It all boils down to your risk tolerance, because for me, sometimes I don't preempt my trailing stop loss. Sometimes I stick to my trailing stop loss. I stick to my gun, come what may. But sometimes sometimes whenever I see some strong signs of weakening, uh, isn't that an oxymoron? Strong signs of a weakening. Anyway, whenever I see some signs of weakening upward momentum, especially when I see some 2 to 3 points being absent from our 4-point criteria, that's the time that I managed to convince myself to preempt my trading stop loss and sell earlier than earlier than my trading stop loss getting hit. Okay, so I am bearish on CHP. I am bearish on CHP. If you don't have CHP, don't rush in. Don't buy yet. If you have CHP, consider selling on strength. Let me just show you the trade and volume distribution. The dominant range is between 2.48 all the way to 2.55 in favor of the bears, sellers. There you go. Next we have SEVN, Philippine SEVN Corporation, 7-Eleven. SEVN closed today at 121.8. It already broke below the 50 SMA, although it's still moving above the 10 SMA. Resistance is at 125.4. Support is at 112.55. It's not yet that alarming for me, the MACD, although it's already starting to it's still uptrending, but we see that the last line of the MACD line is already poised to register a downward slope, but it's not yet alarming for me. Okay, it's not yet alarming for me. However, it's not a guarantee though that SEVN will register a green candlestick tomorrow. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. If and when SEVN registers another red candlestick, then we might see a more downward sloping MACD. So when that happens, it's all the more that I'll become bearish on SEVN. Okay, let's see this. Let's see the foreign investors. They have an insignificant participation in trading SEVN. So I'm not going to factor in the participation of the foreign investors in my overall sentiment for SEVN. On the DMI, the bears are starting to take over. They are starting to take over. FYI. Okay, let me show you the trade and volume distribution chart. 121.8. So this is it's not even a range. It's just a dominant price point, and it's at 121.8, which happens to be closer to the intraday low in favor of the sellers today. Okay, it's a bearish day for SEVNs because volume was higher than its 10-day volume average. So if you have had 7, consider locking in some profits um, above 121.8. If it will move up and down by the next trading day, consider locking in some profits uh, as much as possible closer to 125. Okay, today the intraday high was 124, so there's still a probability, there's still a chance for 7 to go up and down between 120 to 125 by the next trading day. Okay, so when you catch that, lock in some profits. If you don't have 7, don't enter a new position yet. Wait for the appearance of the 4 points that we always check. As soon as they are present, then do a test buy if you'd like to. For now, the 4 points are, let's see, let's count how many are present. Do you see a green candlestick for the last price? 0. Did it close above the VWAP of 121.93? False. 2 down, okay. Do we see a green volume bar? No. 3 down. How about the trade in volume distribution? I have just shown you the chart. It's close, the price point is closer to the intraday low. So all 4 points are absent. So you have no data-driven reason to rush into buying. Okay, wait for those 4 points to become present. All of them, not just 3, not just 2, not just 1, of course. Okay? All right, next, IMI. IMI closed on Wednesday at 10 peso per share. It's at the brink again of it's holding on to its dear life at its support at 10 peso per share. Okay, resistance is at 11.7. If it breaks below 10 peso per share, 8.61 is saying hello as its next support level, followed by 7.45. Okay, 8.61 is a precursor to 7.45. It has been consolidating. Let's see if there are strong hands holding on to IMI at 10 peso per share. They don't want to give up. You can see that they're trying to stay afloat. They're trying to float above 10 peso per share. But there's a danger in this picture. Once these patient investors or traders have gone tired of hoping that IMI will distance itself significantly above 10 peso per share. As soon as they get tired of hoping and protecting the support level, they may turn into weak hands selling IMI and testing 8.61. So be vigilant. So don't hurry. Don't enter a new position on IMI yet. Do not. And by the looks of this chart, from March to May, I don't think there's a reason why you should still have IMI. If you traded IMI above 11.7, by now, by all logical means, you should no longer have your IMI. I'm not going to believe you if you're going to tell me that you have 50%, you have 50% risk tolerance when it comes to short-term trading. I have never done that for the past 19 years. Applying 50% for short-term trading, maybe in my dreams, but not in reality. Okay, so I am bearish on IMI, but let me just show you for what it's worth the trade and volume distribution chart. The dominant range here is between 9.9 to 10 peso per share in favor of the sellers. Okay, CLI closed on Wednesday at 4.93. Take a look at the RSI. It hit its classical oversold level, and those traders who know how to do technical analysis knew that it was about time to lock in some profits at 5.11 or close to that range. Okay, all right. So in my introduction, I have emphasized something about RSI. Okay, so that's another golden nugget. Okay, for your to be added in your trading arsenal, trading tools. Okay, now CLI. It's still moving above its 10 SMA, but if you have had CLI, or if you entered a new position on CLI below 4.69 or close to 4.7, let's see if you can preempt your trailing stop loss. Let's see. Do you see a green candlestick? The last price. Let's talk about the last price. On the last price, do you see a green candlestick? False. Did it close above the VWAP of 4.97? False. Do you see a green volume bar? False. Do we still need to check the trade and volume distribution chart? Okay, for what it's worth also. Let's see. The dominant range is between 9.9 to 10 peso per share. Okay, for CLI. Okay, there you go. Let me check IMI. Where was IMI? Let's see, 9.9 to 10. Looks like they're similar. 77.24. Okay, let me just go back to the let me post in our private clients forum the what was the price of CLI? 4.4, 4.93. So which one is wrong? Trade and volume distribution chart of CLI. So this is not the correct trade and volume distribution chart of CLI. I'm sorry about that. I am going to post the updated trade and volume distribution chart of CLI inside the thread for today's video, May 22. But even without checking it, I can already tell and guarantee. This time I can promise you that the most dominant range of CLI for today is closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. Okay? So I am bearish on CLI, and you have a data-driven reason to preempt. Okay? Not just to rely on hope that CLI will surely rebound from 4.93. So you have a data-driven reason to lock in some gains. Okay, to lock in some gains on your CLI. If you don't have CLI, please don't catch the falling knives yet. Don't rush. Let all those knives fall before you catch. Why would you hurt yourself, so to speak? Okay, so try to wait near 4.7. Try to wait near 4.7. As soon as all 4 points have become green and present again, whether it's at 4.7 or 4.34, that's the only time that you should entertain the idea of doing a test buy. Unless and until you don't have data-driven reasons to buy or sell the stock, please don't do anything. Don't do anything. Whether you're buying or selling, always have a data-driven reason. Don't make a decision based on just what you think, feel, or believe without having any data to back your decision up. Okay? Alright, last stock in my list for today is Tech, T-E-C-H. Tech closed today at 26 pesos per share, just like IMI. It's also holding on to its dear life at its support at 25.9. So resistance is at 29 peso per share. And once these hopefuls get tired of protecting the the support level at 25.9, we might see Tech testing the next support level at 22.8. Okay. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 1 million pesos today. It's still an insignificant amount, I would say. The sellers are still in control based on my DMI histogram, and the downward momentum is still on a very strong category. It's all the more that you should avoid buying or entering a new position on Tech, at least for now. Wait for the 4 points to become all present before you decide into buying Tech. All right, and by the looks of this chart of Tech from November last year up to May, I don't see a logical reason why you should still have Tech. for short-term trading. Okay, none of you should have tech for short-term trading. Okay, none of you should have it. Okay, so there you go. I am bearish on tech. Don't rush into the idea of doing a test buy yet. You've heard my technical analysis, overall sentiment, and trade setups and recommendations for these 10 stocks for May 22 in preparation for the next trading day. So again, I'd like to invite you to check on our seminars page. I am going to conduct some advanced seminars in person in Angeles City, Pampanga, Davao, Cebu, Iloilo, or where else? Cavite or Laguna, Baguio, CDO. Okay, take a look at the seminar section, and I'd like to mention again that I don't like conducting seminars in a very large crowd. For these seminars, I have told my team to just give me about 20 to 30 people, 30 maximum. Okay, why? Because I'd like to have the opportunity to ask all attendees one by one. Okay, so it's going to be uh, a focused seminar for all the attendees. And if I were you, I would book my seat because of this very limited seats. And I cannot guarantee you that I can go back to your place. Let's say for this upcoming seminar that I have in Angeles City, Pampanga in June 29, if I'm not mistaken, or June 27. It's Saturday. I don't know if it's June 27 or June 29. I cannot guarantee that I can go back to that place this year because my calendar is already full for the entire year. Okay, so book your seat now, so that we can I will have so that I can have the chance to teach you in person these things that I personally do in trading and in investing in the Philippine stock market. Okay, my name is JC De Guzman, and if you have follow-up questions, don't forget to ask. Don't hesitate to ask inside our private clients forum. Have a great day. Bye for now.